If this winds up happening, this is outstanding news for the SEC and Big Ten in regards to the playoff. But it's also terrible news for the rest of college football. I speak for everyone when I say this is a terrible idea, LMFAO, and that got over 3,000 likes. And this might be one of the only times in the history of my channel the Big Ten fans and SEC fans unite together. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great start to your week. Hope all of you having a great Tuesday. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man, we got some big time news involving no other than the SEC and the Big Ten. I don't want to overhype the situation, but at the same time, I don't want to underhype it. This is massive. This has major ramifications on the line, and it could change the college football playoff drastically. And that doesn't just affect the SEC and Big Ten, that affects everybody. We're going to talk all about that. Also, we got an update on guess who? DJ Ugabadoogie and the Seminoles. I know at this point in time you're probably just done and fed up with the team, but there's a new update I do want to speak on. Another topic we're going to speak on, and it's something I found really interesting, is Alabama's defensive coordinator, Kane Wommack. He has came out and stated why the defense struggled in the second half versus Georgia. You've probably picked up on it by now in the intro. We got a bunch of different topics to go over, but another one we're going to speak on is the new playoff odds have been released, which I normally don't put too much thought into, but Colorado's odds are way better than you would actually think. We may add in another topic. It is more than safe to say this is the most jam-packed video we've had this season. Strap in, buckle up, get you a snack, get you a popcorn, get your favorite meal you like to eat when you watch a video, because trust me, I do the same thing. But all right, Matt, blah, blah, shut the crap up, now for the dough. Let's get into it. First things first, nice little quick topic to start the video. So check this out. Colorado currently, after that win over, who did they beat? UCF. They have better than a 13% chance of making the playoff. Seriously, think about it. I know 13 doesn't sound like a lot, but for Colorado, that's insane. This is the same team that looked pathetic and miserable last year, and 2 years ago, they won one football game. And I've been giving them an extremely hard time, but last week, they look legit. They look like a top 25 football team, so kudos and credit to them. But here's another thing that people are kind of laughing about. Colorado has a 13% chance, but Nebraska only has a 2.1% chance. Imagine showing these numbers to somebody after the Nebraska and Colorado football game. They'd have said, yeah, there's no way that's real. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. Moving along here to our second topic, we got to talk about Ugabadoogie. As we all know, good old Ugabadoog, he's been having a rough season, and so is his team. I don't even want to point and laugh at Florida State anymore. I don't even want to ridicule them. It's to the point where it's not even funny anymore. They suck and they're an embarrassment, and I could go on and on and on, but I think you get the point. What we're to talk about is heading into their matchup this weekend against Clemson. It doesn't look like Ugabadoo's going to be able to give it a go because he's suffering an injury. Or not is suffering an injury, he is suffering from an injury. You get what I'm trying to say. His hand's been bothering him, and from everything I've seen, although there's nothing official made just quite yet, it's looking like Brock Glenn is going to be the starter against Clemson. Here's something I want to talk about before we go any farther. I've been thinking about this past couple weeks. We see how bad DJ Ugabadoogie is, right? Well, what does that say about Brock Glenn? Think about it. If Ugabadoogie has been playing this bad and he is still the starting quarterback, what does that say about Brock Glenn? Last year in the couple games we saw, Brock Glenn, he was atrocious, one of the worst quarterbacks in the nation. This year there's not too much to judge him off of, but like I said, you can kind of judge him just based off of he's not doing better than DJ in the practices apparently, and DJ's still awful. I would like to assume since last year Glenn's gotten a little bit better, but I don't know. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. And we're definitely going to see him fight out against Clemson because their defense ain't too shabby. I say ain't too shabby like they're mid. They're not mid. They're good. They're legit. Kind of gets lost and everything, but in week one, Clemson's defense was playing good against Georgia. It's just their offense couldn't help them out, and eventually the defense wore over time. I know we like to crack jokes on Ugabadoogie, but it's nothing personal. It's just all jokes and fun, just having a good time. On a serious note, injuries suck. I hate them, and I'm wishing the best of luck and praying for a speedy recovery. Getting that out the way, to tell you the truth, I am really excited to watch this Florida State team play if Brock Glenn is the guy. It's not because I think he's going to do something insane. I just want to see a new face in there and get a taste of something new. I want to see if he can maybe give the Seminoles a spark they need. The bottom line is it's something new, and it's going to be interesting to see how he fares out. We'll see what happens there. Stay tuned. Moving along here to our third topic, you got to check this out. This is what Alabama's defensive coordinator, Kane Wommack, had to say after Alabama blew that 30-point lead. I shouldn't have to give you a quick refresher or reminder what transpired in the Alabama-Georgia game because If you're watching this channel, I assume you're a college football fan. And if you're a college football fan, I assume you watch the Alabama-Georgia game. It's as simple as that. Like I was saying, the defensive coordinator for Alabama said this, and I quote, "When you go up 30-7, you're playing a very different style of game from a defensive perspective. It's one of the most challenging things to handle as a defense." Huh. Interesting. Kind of sounds like, oh, I don't know, something I've been saying the past couple of days. And it's not to discredit Georgia. It's just what happens. When you get up by 30, it is human nature to take your foot off the gas and protect the lead and protect what you've already built up. Obviously, it didn't work for Alabama because, in my opinion, you still got to keep your foot on the gas, keep your foot on their neck, don't give them a chance, don't give them hope, and yada, yada, yada. But he's just explaining what happened. And I've seen some Bama fans say, oh, what about the play clock? How come we're snapping the ball with 15, 20 seconds to go? And that's a good argument. But at the end of the day, if you're not getting first downs, which the offense wasn't, it didn't really amount to a hill of beans anyways if you snapped it or 20 seconds or 10 seconds. You couldn't just, we weren't to the point in the game where you could just run the clock out on Georgia. You still want to keep your flow and rhythm on offense, and that's how Alabama built the lead, so you continue to do that. But getting back on track with the defense, and the reason I even brought up the offense is because it didn't matter what the offense did. The defense wasn't good in the second half. Why weren't they good? For this reason only. In the first half, they were in attack mode. They were the hunters. In the second half, they were the hunted. You can't dumb it down any more than that. And I believe, I don't care if it's 0-0, I don't care if you're down 30-0, I don't care if you're up 30-0. You have got to be the attackers. You got to be the hunter. And it also boils down to, it was a perfect storm because Georgia's offense, they were clicking and they got every single, no lie, every single fourth down conversion. And outside of that long pass play at the end and a couple others from Carson Beck, Georgia was really dinking and diming their way down the field. One of their drives in the second half took 7 minutes. I'm sure some of y'all even noticed watching it on TV. You didn't have to watch film to see this. In the first half, Alabama was bringing the blitz almost at least once every 3 to 4 plays. And the second half, how many times did Bama blitz? Not much. And I get it, I do. You don't want to blitz 6 or even 7 and risk giving up a huge chunk play, but at the same time, it makes it a little bit easier for the offense. And we could sit up here for our next, no lie, 45 minutes nitpicking how Alabama handled that 30-point lead. And I know it was only 28. I'm just saying 30 because I'm rounding up. I'm slightly exaggerating it. I did find it fascinating, though, that Womack came out and stated this because it's what I was trying to tell you guys in the reaction video and in the Sunday recap and all the other videos I've done talking about the situation. Anybody that knows ball or plays ball, you know this. When you get up, whether it be basketball, football, baseball, it doesn't matter. You take your foot off the gas. Many more things I could say about that. Would love to talk about it some more, but we got to get a move on to the main topic of the main encore. Main reason you clicked onto this video. What in the world is going on with the SEC and the Big Ten? And also, not just the SEC and Big Ten, but the college football playoff. Let me catch you up to speed on things. We no longer have the 4-team playoff. We have switched over to the 12-team playoff format, and this is the first year we're doing so, and I'm extremely excited. I'm a big fan of it. Been advocating for the 12-team format for years now. I just think it makes college football so much better because now when you lose even 1 or 2 games, it's not over quite just yet. If you're in the SEC or Big Ten, you might lose 2 and get in. Big 12, ACC, probably not, but I guess I have to wait and see. The point is, I like it when more teams have a shot because it keeps me more engaged as the season continues, goes on and on and on. One example I've always brought up is in years prior, if you got number 15th ranked Utah playing number 12th ranked Oregon, I didn't care about that game if it was at the end of the year because it didn't matter who wins, they're not getting in the playoff. However, this year, if you got, let's just say, same thing, 15th ranked Utah versus 12th ranked Oregon, yeah, I'm probably going to watch that game because it is a playoff game or a play-in game to a playoff. I think it's better for the fans. I think it's better for the teams. It gives these kids to play for. I'm a more the merrier type of person. If we could do a 64-team playoff like March Madness or 68 teams, I'd be a fan of that, but obviously we can't because a little bit different. But the point is we've now switched over to a 12-team playoff format, and recently in the 4-team playoff, it didn't matter if you won the championship. It didn't matter what happened. You could no lie go 8-4. If the playoff committee thought you was one of the best 4 teams, you're getting in. With the 12-team playoff format, it's not just a little bit, but a lot of bit different. We now have automatic bids. The 5 highest ranked conference champions, they're getting in no matter what. Which means, doing some simple math, if you have 5 auto bids, you have 7 at-large spots. That equates to 12-team format, and also we do have home field, and that's going to be pretty awesome to see. But, and I have a big but, when the playoff committee and everyone who was designing all this implemented the 12-team format, The Pac-12 didn't explode. Now that it's gone, and you got the Big Ten adding some of the Pac-12 teams, the SEC getting Oklahoma and Texas, you got the SEC and Big Ten going, well, wait a minute, partner. Why do we only get one automatic bid? We are easily the two best conferences in the nation, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Big Ten doesn't have a lot of top dogs this year, but look at the SEC. How many teams does the SEC have ranked inside the top 12 as where it stands right now? You got 4 out of the top 5, then you got Missouri at 9 and Ole Miss at 10. SEC currently has 6 top 12 teams. SEC has an outstanding argument of stating, hey, we need more than one auto bid, buddy, because this isn't fair, and it's not. The Big Ten doesn't have as great of an argument as the SEC, but they're right there with them. They got 4 top 12 teams. Or my apologies, they got 5 with USC, Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State. I was forgetting about Penn State. They got 5, but we can all agree SEC's got more of your heavy hitters like Alabama, Texas, and Georgia, and I guess now Tennessee. So what has happened is the SEC and Big Ten, they've been meeting with one another saying, you know what? We need to talk to the playoff about getting us some more spots. And the news has just been released that the SEC and Big Ten are looking to get 4 automatic bids, not combined, but each. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. The SEC wants 4 automatic bids. The Big Ten wants 4, and that means it only leaves 4 more for the rest of the nation. If this winds up happening, this is outstanding news for the SEC and Big Ten in regards to the playoff. But it's also terrible news for the rest of college football. It essentially means, hey, if you're not part of the SEC and Big Ten, you really don't got no shot and you're somewhat irrelevant. I say you got no shot, but you get what I'm trying to say. You have a slight shot, but it ain't a good one. And of course, I expect my SEC and Big Ten fans to be happy about this, rightfully so. But if you're not a fan of the SEC or Big Ten, you're not going to be happy about this, and I understand that. Here's what the CFP has stated, quote unquote. CFP leaders haven't determined yet what the playoff will look like beyond this season and next. Some said they need to know that before making any decisions about future scheduling partnerships. But as far as it goes for the SEC and Big Ten getting 8 combined automatic bids, here's my thoughts. It's fair. The SEC and Big Ten are dominating college football. The ACC is hot garbage, they're irrelevant, and the Big 12 isn't too much better. And I've been saying this since last year, we're eventually somewhere down the road going to go to 2 mega conferences, the SEC and Big Ten. And if you're mad about this, I don't understand why, because look at the past 20 years, the SEC has won almost all the championships without having automatic bids. And you can choose to be mad it doesn't affect me. I just choose to live in reality. If you don't think the SEC and Big Ten combined don't run college football, I don't know what to tell you and I can't help you. And look, it's not like you're shut out of the playoff. You still have 4 other spots. It's just the SEC and Big Ten are like, hey, we got all the good teams. We got all the playoff teams. So why are we only getting 1 automatic bid? We need 4. And look at the top 12. They both currently have more than 4 teams in the top 12. So it's not some insane argument. If the SEC and Big Ten was like, oh, we need 4 automatic bids, but they only had 2 teams in the top 12 apiece, okay, then we got a debate on our hands. But right now, there's no debate. Like I've said, most people don't like this if they're not a fan of the Big Ten or SEC in regards to the playoffs. Someone tweeted out, I speak for everyone when I say this is a terrible idea, LMFAO, and that got over 3,000 likes. Somebody in the comments said, how long until the SEC informs the Big they're not equal either? Yeah, that's a different conversation for a different day. Well, I say different conversation for a different day, but I thought it's common knowledge around the nation. The Big Ten's not even on the same level as the SEC, and it's not particularly close. This person says it got over 1,500 likes. It's not a playoff at that point. I disagree. It is a playoff. It's just you got more of your better teams in it. Let me ask you a question. Would you rather see 10-2 Georgia or 10-2 Alabama in the playoff getting that 11th or 12th spot? Or would you rather see 10-2 Oklahoma State or 10-2 Kansas State? You see what I'm saying? I know you want underdogs to get in, but if you want good football games, you got to put in the SEC and Big Ten teams. And this might be one of the only times in the history of my channel the Big Ten fans and SEC fans unite together. And I kind of like this comment. There's a good argument for this. The way the format is right now is perfect. Earn your way. Check out this comment. This is coming from an SEC homer in his words. Then there needs to be 16 teams at the very least in 2026. I'm an SEC homer, but there does not need to be 4 auto bids in a 12-team playoff. That's ridiculous. As to where it stands right now, I'd say the SEC deserves 4. That's what they deserve. The Big Ten deserves 3. Because let's just be honest, don't be some Big Ten homer. The Big Ten is not on the same level as the SEC. That's a great idea. If you want to ruin college football, you know what? We'll do this. You guys let me know your thoughts on this down below. I'm curious. But, Roman,